For One Up Nitro National Competition's second road course race in a row, we head from the streets of Trois Rivieres in Canada to the hallowed ground of Indianapolis Motor Speedway on the road course for the Nitro National Series for another year for race number 12 of 25 in the 2024 season. We've had some great racing over the first 11 races, and I'm sure we're going to have plenty of the same here today for 25 laps around this 2.5-mile circuit. And alongside me to bring you all the action once again is Duke Ansack for today's race. And we've got some big names starting up front and starting at the back. And this place has changed since we were last year. A new package expected to produce a little better racing. They can make it to the end on one stop, though, or without any stops, I should say. We expect that to change for next year. But for this year, it's a sprint to the finish line for all 42 drivers taking the flag today.
Absolutely, and you're right. Today is going to be a total shootout between all of these drivers, so it has created a situation where a starting position is going to be absolutely huge today, and we've got some great drivers up front. We've got some surprises in the back, like you said, so there's some people with some work to do. We're going to see how conducive this new package, this new situation that we have here is going to allow people to gain time, to lose time, and make passes. How is that going to all work out and play out? We just don't know yet. It's going to be a lot of fun to find out where these drivers are able to make their moves, though, around this famed road course.
And you should have been here for qualifying earlier this week because the crowd stood up as one when our pole sitter took the checkered flag on his run. That would be a native Hoosier himself, James Ellison, who gets his first pole at Indianapolis. And what better place for him to get his first Nitro National win than here at home? As we can now bring you the full starting lineup. Ellison, of course, as I mentioned, on pole position. Cameron Brennan, he has had some exceptional runs on the road courses this season. This is only his 7th start of 2024, but he lines up second on the grid. Jake McMillan making a one-off appearance, trying to become the first driver to win in all 3 series. He lines up third next to Riley Hooper, and Henry Thomas, who led so much at Trois Rivieres, rounds out the top 5. But like you said, there's some big names starting out back. Earl Sear, the Provo winner, starts 40th. Elijah Ironhouse, 31st. Aiden Clare, 30th. Logan Williams, Kev Shearer, could he go for it? They're all starting outside the top 15, and that is going to be a big challenge for them to make their way up from there to the front of the field.
Yeah, I mean, like you said, Logan Williams won the last race we had on a road course, so that's a huge surprise that he is starting all the way back in 25th for this race. So yeah, it's going to be crazy. I think that it's going to be furious for the first few laps of racing, just everybody trying to gain positions while everybody's so close to each other. And then after that, as long as you make it through the first few laps, it's going to be a challenge of trying to make it to the end and who can be the fastest around each and every corner over the course of 25 laps.
So with that being said, we have 42 drivers ready to take on the Indianapolis Motor Speedway. Who will get the checkered flag first? We're about to find out, because this is the One Up Nitro National Series at the Brickyard once again, and the green flag is getting ready to get this great race underway. Stay tuned. You're not going to want to miss a second of the action. Getting ready for 25 laps of intense racing action here at the Indianapolis Road Course. James Ellison and Cameron Brennan on the front row. Neither of these two have won a Nitro National race before. Which will one of them be the first one across the line? Here we go. We're about to find out now. The green flag is in the air. It's going to be in a moment. There they are. We're underway here in Indianapolis, and before they even get to the yard of bricks, the field already starts to fan out 3 wide. This is what we know and love coming down into the first turn.
Yeah, and this is an insane turn 1. It's a 90-degree right-hand turn all the way down, hard on the brakes, and they're 3 wide for the lead, and the 31 has made an incredible corner, but he goes off track a little bit. We've got 2 off track behind him, battling for position. There's dust in the air, and we got the pace car parking. And look at all of that action back there. Wow.
It looks like Brennan's taking the lead from Ellison on the opening corner. They make contact through the chicane, and off goes McMillan into the barriers, and he's out of the race already.
No. We got so many cars crashing off the track now.
Mashburn involved. Minnick involved. Austin Hitler with damage. Shenson Nomina, Tegan Fox, Mike Edwards, all off track on the 5th, 6th turn. They're all going to be damaged, and it looks like for Minnick and McMillan, their day's done already.
Wow, that is incredible. I mean, that is such a difficult part of this track. It is a full speed, all out, basically a kink or a chicane, whatever you want to call it, turns 5 and 6. You're jumping over those curbs right there to get through that corner, and just people were not able to make it through that corner. It was slick or something, because they were just all sliding directly off the track, and as soon as you hit that grass, you're on a ride towards the wall, and there's not much that's going to stop you. So that was a tough sight to see. But look at this. It's the 86 car out front leading the first lap.
And this is the first lap Cameron Brennan has ever led in his one-up career. But Ellison makes a lunge up the inside. Wow. He does not want to waste any time behind the 86, but the Scotsman holds him off. So it is Brennan that leads through turns 3 and 4. And these two already starting to pull clear of Riley Hooper, who has made his way up into 3rd place.
Yeah, that's a great move, and we'll see how they fare through this chicane again. You can see how they basically drive all the way over those curbs, all 4 wheels, below that white line there, and that's perfectly fine, perfectly legal here, but it is dangerous because of the inside curbing, and you see a little bit of contact through there when you go side by side. It is just so tight to get through there, and here is the 3 car coming off the pit lane.
Yeah, he must have had damage in that that opening exchange. Tegan Fox, Miles Mashburn, they rejoin the race. But for Bronson Minnick and for Jake McMillan, as we said, it is game over on the opening lap at Indianapolis. It's heartbreak for McMillan. Was looking forward to this race. He had such a good starting spot. Was looking to become the first driver to win in all 3 series. He's going to have to wait till his next try.
Yeah, and with our road course procedure, no yellow flags, only local yellows, so this field isn't going to get bunched up again. So you just got to get into the pit lane, get that thing repaired as fast as you can, and get back out there and start putting down some qualifying laps. You just have to try to catch up to the back of the field. If you're not able to do that, you have to try to make sure you're ahead of everybody else that has crashed.
Yeah, and speaking of those who have crashed, it looks like John McFadden, he started 11th today, but he's been involved in an incident as well, and he looks to be done after the 2nd lap of this race. That is an unfortunate situation for McFadden. It was announced earlier that he would be dropping down to the Truck Series next year. Tough way for his final Indy start to go for now.
Yeah, and this is so far looking like it's a race that is going to have high attrition, so definitely it's critical if you are in an incident in this race. You want to get into the pit lane, get that thing fixed up, stay out on the track as long as you can, because you might just pick up a few more positions, and every point counts, especially for somebody who could possibly be battling for a playoff spot come later in this season. So yeah, for now though, really, really good so far from Cameron Brennan, leading the way in the 86 car.
And he's not fighting for a playoff spot, but what he is fighting for is to get to the top 30 in owners' points. Remember, he missed the opening few races of the season while the team was sorting out their plans. So this is, in essence, a fresh start for the team. This would be a great way to gain a ton of points in a big hurry, as the lead between himself and James Ellison has now grown to a 2nd and change.
Yeah, and you know what? I think I see Elijah Ironhouse in the pit lane now, and that is a new member of the crew that has been in the pit lane in this race, and there are 2 cars exiting the pit lane. So there are still incidents occurring all the way around this track. I mean, each and every lap. I think that this is our turns 5 and 6 right here. That is where it gets really, really tough, especially this whole field. Some of these guys might end up too wide through there, and it just gets too tight, and we get some cars with some damage.
Quick shout out though to Anthony McLaurin, this 54. He is yet to finish in the top 10 this season, but right now holding down a solid P5 at the moment. He started this race back in the 8th spot, but he picked off a few at the beginning, weaved his way through to Carnage early, running in the top 5 just ahead of Ryan Griffin, who I'm sure is very relieved to have avoided the trouble early on a road course, a track he hates, and is doing a solid job in the top 10.
Yeah, I'll tell you what, Ryan Griffin might be able to start coming around to road courses a little bit after this run. If he can make a pass or two here today, he could find himself in a nice, healthy top 5, which would be a really, really solid run for this 92 car on a track where you turn left and right. It would be a very, very good day for that driver.
Well, he has yet to get a top 5 in his road course career, but this is the closest he's come in a while, so good stuff from Ryan Griffin early. As it looks like Riley Hooper is going to try and move down the inside on James Ellison, but he's now facing pressure from the Sonoma winner, Kanauka, in the 7. As Hooper goes off the track, that's going to make the pass easy.
Yeah, and that's just tough. I mean, as soon as you get offline a little bit through that corner, you're going to be in a little bit of marbles that start to accumulate on the outside lane, just those balls of rubber coming off the tires. That if you get out there, it's like driving on ice a little bit. So you get out there, you lose a little bit of your grip, and then you're just going to go sliding out to that outside lane. That's exactly what happened to Riley Hooper there when Kanauka got to the inside, just forced the 69 car to the outside lane. He had to use that dirty line, and he just wasn't able to hold on. Stayed on in the one position in the that's the
fourth spot that he fell to.
Now, yeah, so stayed in 4th at least. Didn't lose any more positions than just the one Kanauka took.
But one thing we're going to face a lot today, I imagine, with all the attrition that we're having, is lap traffic. And Cameron Brennan coming up on a few of them here. Kenneth Grant in the 53, Mike Edwards in the 60. Those two are quite a bit slower each lap than the 86. Depending on where this car catches the lap traffic, this could be a bit of a tough situation for him. But to his credit, he is gaining time every lap. His lead now 2.5.
Yeah, so we'll see what happens once that lap traffic. I mean, those guys will be slower because of all their damage, and that's just how it's going to be. So he's going to have to try to find a way around them as quickly as possible, and then do not find yourself side by side through turns 5 and 6, or really through any turn unless you're on the inside. That could cost you the chance of the win here today at the Indy Road Course.
I'm sure James Ellison wanted a better start than the one he got. He started on pole, but Brennan got the jump on him on the opening few corners. But he's holding down 2nd place, and this is a run he really needs to have. He's fallen down the points ladder lately. He's down to, I believe, 11th as they run right now. He would probably gain a couple of spots in the meantime. But this is a guy who really wants to make the playoffs before he jumps up to Superstar competition next year. So a 2nd place would do really good. A win would be even better, especially for him at this place where he has been dreaming of running well here because, you know, he's from this area.
Yeah, I mean, and here's his first chance, his first real opportunity to try to make some gains on this 86 car. He has a good opportunity here because of this lap traffic. It looks like the 86 was only impacted through that final set of corners 12, 13, and 14 there. Now on the straightaway, he's able to get by that car. So James Ellison is just going to have to start putting together some really good lap times. You have to stop worrying about the cars behind you. Go on offense, and offense only right here. You just got to put down qualifying laps and hope that you can catch these lap cars in a better spot and gain some time that way.
Yeah, but I think he's going to have to look in his mirror soon because that blue car back there to 7, it is approaching him very quickly. Kanauka is. And remember, Kanauka led every lap at Sonoma a while back to get that win. And we know that this Game Breaker Racing team is one on the rise. And but they go a little wide on 7 there, but regardless, if this team can string together a good finish here, as Hooper tried to make a move, but if Kanauka can make a good run at this win, that would be a big help for that team.
Oh, definitely. You know, Kanauka has shown that on the road courses, that car really can perform. And we've seen that once again here today at the Indianapolis road course. That team has just brought a really, really good piece. And here's James Ellison in 2nd place and now struggling with the same lap car that our leader struggled with last time by. But this time, Ellison's going to really have to do some work to get by this car on the straightaway. Looks like it's going to be okay right here. That maybe, I'm not sure who that is, but whoever it is, they might be down some power.
That's Kenneth Grant in the 53. But yeah. If there's one good thing about that move is that he did it on the straightaway. That's probably the best spot to overtake a lap car because you're not being stuck in their turbulent air for very long. But Cameron Brennan, on the other hand, he has caught Mike Edwards, and he is being sent into the turbulent air through the chicane, and that is not where you want to deal with a lap car. As now Kanauka has to deal with Grant as well. This is probably the worst section of the track to catch a lap car. Yeah. 7 through about 10 here.
Yeah, this is an extremely technical part of the track. You need all the downforce you can get, especially because you're on the brakes a lot, you're on the throttle a little bit, you're turning pretty much more than any other part of the track through this little section. And then, of course, this is a high-speed area. You're going to get up to the banking, but look, the 86 has to let off the throttle a little bit. It's allowing James Ellison to gain time, and there he's going to go to the inside. Now he's still side-by-side, but now he moves to the outside lane on the outside of Edwards, and it's not going to be able to make the pass, so another corner he'll have to ride in the inside or behind Mike Edwards, and finally he'll be able to get next to him.
Oh, they make contact off the final corner. That's going to cost them a little bit of time. Incredible driving there for them to save that, but Ellison's gap has dropped by almost a full second. That is not what Brennan needed.
Wow, that was incredible out of the corner. It looked like our leader was going to be heading straight into the inside wall here at the Brickyard, but it didn't happen. Thankfully for everybody involved, that could have been an incredible moment in this race, but for now, James Ellison has gained some time, and the leader has gotten by the lapper at this point in the race, and there's a pretty big gap until anybody else.
Yeah, the next car they're going to catch is Elijah Ironhouse, and he's about a quarter to a third of a lap ahead. So Brennan can focus on running some solid laps here, but Ellison's now got to deal with Edwards now. And if he doesn't get by to 60 in a hurry, Kanalka is going to strike. And I would not be surprised if Kanalka doesn't even wait for Ellison to catch the lap car, because that 7 seems to be a little faster at the moment.
Well, I'm actually shocked by Kanalka right now. That 7 car was trapped behind Kenneth Grant just at the beginning of that lap and lost a ton of time to James Ellison, and now has gained all of it right back over the course of one lap. So I think that this 7 car, once the air cleans up a little bit, once the lappers are kind of out of the equation, this 7 car, if they could get it up into second place, that could be absolutely a big moment in this race where possibly lead change would be imminent.
Here comes Kanalka trying to get underneath Edwards here, and they're going to trap Edwards on the tight line through that corner, and I think Kanalka is going to make the move stick through this corner here. Coming up on 5 and 6, Kanalka needed to make that move happen because Ellison was just starting to drive away a little bit. Now Kanalka can focus on chasing down the 31 and make a battle out of it for second, because I still believe that this 7 may be the fastest car here other than the 86.
Yeah, that was a textbook pass from Kanalka right there. Went to the inside of turn 1. You end up on the outside of turn 2, but if you go a little bit wide and cut across through that corner, you're able to squeeze that car you're passing on the inside lane. They're not able to open it up on the exit. You stay side by side, beat them on the inside lane through the next corner. That was just a textbook move. Very, very well done from the 7 machine that time through. And now the charge to the front is about to begin if that 7 can get by James Ellison.
And this is a position I do not think James Ellison wants to give up. Not here, because we've said it multiple times. This is a place that James Ellison would rather win than anywhere else. Even Daytona, I think it would probably be the place he wants to win the most at. So I know the gap is 3.5 seconds. I know Cameron Brennan's running away with this round. But and I know Kanalka's now making a move down the inside, going into turn 1. This could be another textbook pass by the 7.
Yeah, ooh, a little bit wide there, but it's okay. And now you've still got that inside lane. So you're going to move to the bottom there, and it looks like James Ellison is going to have no choice but to allow that 7 to go through. I'm not sure that car had... Oh, there's almost a little bit of contact right there. James Ellison's got to be a little careful. I mean, third place is really solid right now. I say just like ease it up a little bit here, James Ellison. You just got to ride behind Kanalka, maybe learn a thing or two. That car is faster right now. Going to have to just follow the 7 all the way up to the front if he can. Right here, I think that's the only move that was going to happen. That was the only move that was going to be allowed by Kanalka in the 7 car at that moment.
So the Japanese sophomore takes up the challenge chasing the Scottish rookie here, as we got a few more cars in the pit lane. David Meske in the 42, the Daytona winner, has had a struggle for every other race this season, and now he is exiting the pits with a lot of damage on his car. Austin Hiller, and we got one blowing up in the middle of the chicane. Oh, that was close, between Earl Sear and Benjamin Snyder, who appears to have blown up coming through the S's portion of this track.
Yeah, that's a really, really bad spot for the 5 car to be. So you really, hopefully this car will get away from that location before any of our leaders go through there. And hopefully there's no fluid on this track. That could be a bad situation. So we'll just have to wait and see how that plays out. And that is a tough break for that team.
Meanwhile, more cars still trying to get by Mike Edwards in the back half of the top 10. But Cameron Brennan has extended his lead. It's now almost 4 seconds between himself and Kanauka. We're closing in on the halfway point of this race, and the question remains, will Kanauka be able to gain time on the 86, or is this going to be the Scottish rookie's day?
I'm a little bit curious about how this is going to play out when and if they catch Elijah Ironhouse. I think that Ironhouse's car does not have as much damage as those other cars that they were able to pass, and that car is traditionally running a little bit faster, a little bit higher in the order than all of those other cars. So this will be fascinating to see if it's as easy a pass for our leaders to get by Elijah Ironhouse when they do catch him, or if they're able to catch him. There's still quite a long ways to go, but that could prove to be a bit of a challenge for this 86 car, just because the faster speed through the middle of the corner, you might not be able to get through quite as easily. It'll be fascinating to see, nonetheless, how that plays out if we get to that point in this race. That could allow Kanauka a big opportunity to catch the leader.
Not that they really need it. Kanauka's actually gained half a second that last lap, so keep that up for a few more laps and you'll be there by the end. It's just a matter of timing it right. So Brennan's led all 12 laps so far. These are the first laps he's ever led in his career. But the question remains, can Kanauka catch? Because I don't think anyone else is really going to be able to, because Ellison's now fallen into the clutches of Riley Hooper. That is the fight for third. Yeah,
this is probably a tough pill to swallow for James Ellison in this race right now. You know, started on the pole, had a great qualifying run. You know, the big crowd ovation that occurred during that session was incredible for this whole team. You know, and to start in first place, to see that car rolling off as the leader, then you lose the lead in turn one. You know, keep in second place, that's fine. There was a lot of chaos farther back in the pack, so you give yourself this big opportunity to possibly gain a lot of points on some people that have had some issues in the race, and then you aren't able to keep that second position. You aren't able to gain on the leader throughout the race. So tough pill to swallow. Still a fantastic day on paper for James Ellison, but the way that it has happened it is going to be tough for this team, and they absolutely have nothing to hang their heads about so far in this race. But it's going to be tough for them.
But they have more races, and even a third place here would be a great day for them in the points to try and get back into the top 10, try and put a cushion between himself and 13th in the points. That's the cut line, remember. But one thing I also noticed on that last lap, Kanauka also gained another 0.2 of a second on the 86. So I think it's a matter of time before Kanauka starts to really pick it up, because I think the 7 was saving a little bit in the early laps, now starting to apply it.
Yeah, that's probably true. I mean, it's a really fascinating battle that we have developing here, because during all of this, there are more lap cars. You know, it's not just Elijah Ironhouse. There's a couple ahead of Elijah Ironhouse. I do believe at this point that they will catch Elijah Ironhouse at some point in this race. Again, that car is a little bit faster than the others that they passed, Kenneth Grant and others. So it'll be fascinating to see how this all works out. But yeah, Kanauka is a lot faster. Oh, didn't gain as much time that time.
Only a couple hundredths, but
Kanauka has been faster than the 86 car, and that's critical for the end of this race to see how it all works out.
And remember, we're coming to 10 laps to go this time, but that is a long time here at Indianapolis, especially on the road course. So, all hope is not lost for Game Breaker Racing, but they really got to step it up, because at this point, Cameron Brennan has got to be pace managing out front and waiting to apply the extra pace he has for the very end.
Yeah, well, it would be smart for Brennan to do as much as he can to possibly not catch Elijah Ironhouse. I don't know exactly if that's going to work against a car as fast as Kanauka, but sometimes you're able to let off that pace a little bit and kind of ride behind that car.
Whoa! That was a battle for 10th place that Braden Varga just decisively won against Aiden Smith. That was a power move.
Yeah. I don't think I've ever seen a pass quite like that here at this track. I mean, that was around the outside in a technical section. There was a little bit of contact side to side, but no harm, no foul, and Varga has taken the position.
But Cameron Brennan continues to lead. We'll see what the gap is at the line now that we've hit 10 laps to go in this race. And, oh yeah, Kanauka just picked up 0.7 of a second on that lap alone. That is a sign this 7 car is coming. Brennan has got to be thinking about that.
Yeah, Brennan is going to have to pick up the pace. I don't know if they have communicated with him about possibly staying away from that 8 car, because they don't know if they're able to pass him or not. But it is time to go. You have to try, to get by. I mean, right now this 7 car is gaining a ton. That last lap was the most single lap gain we've seen from the 7 car since Kanauka took the 2nd position. So this is interesting. We'll see how it all plays out, but the 86 is going to have to get by Elijah Ironhouse, and fast.
That's another question. Where does he catch the 8 car? And because if he catches him on the straight, that's going to be no problem. He's going to shoot past. But if he catches him like the next lap in that section again, that could be a problem, because Kanauka is going to have fresh, clean air on the nose of that Toyota, and Brennan's Dodge is going to have a little work to do to try and make his way around.
Yeah, that'll be really, really tough. If the 8 car would lay over for the leaders, that also is a circumstance that would help the 86 car. No brand loyalty going on here. It is Chevy, Dodge, and Toyota in the top, Dodge and Toyota top 2, with a Chevy in 3rd and a Chevy as a lap car ahead of them. So we'll see what happens. This is not a great sign for the 86 as far as where he is going to catch Elijah Ironhouse. We'll see, though. Hopefully he doesn't catch him in the chicane. That would be pretty tough. I don't think he will. It is going to be probably towards the end of this lap, beginning of the next lap, what it looks like right now. We'll see how the draft plays out down this short back straightaway we have here. This is the 2nd longest straightaway on the track.
Yeah, and it looks like we've had another incident somewhere, because I saw some dust getting kicked up by the chicane. Maybe a few cars went off there, as Brennan tries to make a move on Elijah Ironhouse into 7. Nothing doing there. He goes into 8 and 9, trying to make a move stick. Takes to the curb to avoid contact with the 8. We'll see how this works now. Because, he's gone onto the grass to avoid...
Because there's an incident. The 38 is slow on the track. Oh, my goodness.
Yeah, Wyatt O'Quinn has had a big problem further back in the pack. And looking further back, looks like we've got more problems. Ellison's off. A whole host of cars are off.
This is crazy. They're all sliding through that corner right there.
I think there's got to be some fluid down there from the 38, because look at all the cars going off here.
This is wild, and they're running into those cones. I mean, this is a crazy, crazy circumstance right there. Those are some
we got more of them going off. Grant, Maston Rimmel, also off track. That's one we're gonna get you a replay of after this race, because that is the most cars I've ever seen go off at one corner.
That is crazy. I hope that these leaders know what's going on. That's a heartbreaker for James Ellison. And it looks like the 92 is up to 3rd. There's James Ellison far back there. Meanwhile, for the lead, they are within a second now, and it got even closer in turn 1 because of where they caught Elijah Ironhouse. Can't tell if they're both by right now.
And Nicky Martinez in the pits had such a strong run going in this race for the 47. The 47 is going to be out of contention at least if they're able to continue. Jensen Nomino with a severe amount of damage in the 62. He may be done for today. Wyatt O'Quinn certainly is in the 38.
This is incredible. That must have all been related to the 38 that was stopped almost on the track. And now look at this. Kanauka has not gotten by Elijah Ironhouse, so that is costing Kanauka a ton of time. And look at those cars still sliding through that corner. Man, oh man, is that turn 10? Is that what I'm looking at, turn 10? Or is it not?
No, that's 10, and this is 11. So Thomas makes the move around Riley Hooper for 7th spot. But it looks like everybody ran through the fluid on the previous lap to clear it away, and now we'll see what the gap is. Oh yeah, Kanauka lost a second trying to get by Ironhouse, but this is still a lot closer than it was a few laps ago.
Oh, for sure. And I mean, now we have a hazard on the track. I mean, you have to be really careful. It's kind of like an invisible monster down there.
You got to tiptoe your way through 8, 9, and 10.
Yeah, you don't really know where there is or isn't fluid on the track right now. You know that there's something going on down there, but it's really, really difficult to tell exactly what's happening. So these leaders are going to have to be extremely careful while also trying to push as hard as they can because they're battling each other, they're challenging each other all the way around this track. So how could they possibly be expected to slow down to be careful through that corner while also trying to defend and attack for this position? It's the lead of the race. It's for the win.
What an incredible turn of events. You see Ironhouse, he still slid through that corner, and there must still be some residual oil down there. An incredible turn of events. Look at this top 10. It's been shuffled up a lot. Ryan Griffin in the 92 is up in the 3rd place. Yeah. And that would be his best road course result ever. Ryan Reed up to 4th.
Yeah, and Braden Varga is in 6th. I mean, that car started, oh boy, all the way in 13th. I mean, we've got some huge implications in this top 10. So
yeah, Ryan Arnold started 14th. He's now in the top 10.
Yeah, I mean, wow, what a circumstance we've found ourselves in here at the Indy Road Course. This race has thrown several curveballs that I don't think anybody was really expecting today, and that's just been a ton of fun to watch. It's so exciting. And I still don't know who is going to win this race between Kanauka and Brennan. It's going to be an incredible battle to the end.
And if those two get to fighting each other and they have a little incident down, say in turn 8, for example, if they don't get back on track in a relatively quick fashion, that could let Ryan Griffin through to a surprise win here. Incredible stuff from Indianapolis Motor Speedway, but we still have 6 laps to go, and there's a lot still to happen in this race in those remaining 5.5 laps. But it's Cameron Brennan out in front, Kanauka 2nd, Ryan Griffin lurking back there in 3rd, but in reality, it looks as though it's going to come down to the top 2.
Yeah, I mean, it would take a massive off track from both of these cars for the 92 to really gain. And of course, that is possible. I mean, we've seen in this race that it is very possible for that kind of thing to happen.
Yeah, but look at Kanauka trying to pick up more time, because this is, when they get to the line here, it's going to be 5 laps to go. There's not a lot of time left for Kanauka to get a move on. So if they have any hope of winning this race, it's got to come soon as they approach the lap car of Martinez.
Yeah, so right now, I mean, we're watching this, and I think that Brennan is going to really struggle with this Martinez car. I mean, this is not a good part of the track to gain on the lapper. You really want it on that front straightaway. Maybe it'll happen on the back straightaway like it did almost with Elijah Ironhouse, but I just don't think the 86 is close enough.
Not yet, anyway. We've had 2 big offs in this race. One on the first corner, first lap right here, and another at lap 17 when basically half the field went off at turn 9.
Yeah, it was crazy because the one half of the field went off in the first time they went through the chicane, and then the rest of the cars went off at the other time in this track. So that is interesting. But right now, this 86 is stuck behind the 47 and is allowing Kanauka to gain more time than they have gained for this entire race so far. We'll see if Brennan can make the move on the brake a little bit right there. Got to get to the inside. Got to complete the pass in this corner. If you don't, you're stuck on the outside.
And it looks like he is. He is stuck on the outside. That's going to let Kanauka get even closer. We're coming to 4 laps to go. There is still a question mark over who is going to win this race. Will it be Kanauka getting their 2nd win of the season, or will it be Cameron Brennan hearing the Scottish national anthem at the end of today?
I'll tell you what, Brennan now is in a severe disadvantage. Kanauka was able to not lose a lick of time trying to pass that 47 and is now diving to the inside. No chance of making a move for the lead right there, but Kanauka got by on the straightaway, and look how close they are. The timing at the lap says it was 0.8, but it is significantly closer now. I would say that's about 0.5 or less between these two leaders. This is the closest it's been since the start of the race.
We've only got 34 cars still running in this race. Skylar Taylor out of the race. Aiden Clare out. Jensen Nomina. Oh my goodness, we don't have many cars. We have a decent amount of cars left, but not as many as we had before. This has been quite possibly the most eventful race we have seen at the Indianapolis Road Course for the Nitro National Series, and it's still not over yet.
Yeah, because this battle for the lead is on. Kanauka has caught Cameron Brennan now for the lead, and this battle between these two has been brewing since about the halfway point in this race when Kanauka passed James Ellison for the second position. That 7 car was the fastest car on the track and has been since that point, and now is finally on the bumper of the 86. Is going to have the draft going down the front straightaway.
We'll see what happens here coming down the front stretch. It'll be 3 laps to go at the line. This is going to be a big drafting moment for Kanauka. We'll see if they can get close enough to the 86. 0.4 of a second separate the two leaders. Not close enough. He thought about taking a peek, thinks better of it.
Kanauka filling up Cameron Brennan's mirrors into the corner just to keep that 86 car on its toes right now. The 7 car is absolutely challenging for the lead at this point. There isn't a lot of time. You have to make that move soon. There are no more lap cars that are going to impact this race. It's 1 versus 1 right here. The 7 versus the 86. No other influence. It all comes down to this.
It's going to be definitely a battle for the ages here at Indianapolis. But look at how deep on the brakes Kanauka got there. This is going to be an incredible... There is going to be another lap car for them to deal with. It's the 42. This is going to be really close. It depends on where they catch him, and if indeed they catch him. We're coming to 2 to go.
And the thing is, they're both going to catch him about the same time this time because they're so close to each other. And that 42 is significantly slower. I mean, that car doesn't even have a hood anymore, so definitely punching a massive hole through the air. It seems like they probably will catch the 42, but you're right. Where they catch is going to be critical. If they catch on the straightaway, might not matter, but if they catch in one of these technical sections around the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course, it is going to be tough for Cameron Brennan to hold off Kanauka while also trying to pass that 42 car.
Here comes Kanauka, though, coming down to the turn 1 with 2 laps to go. Here comes the move down in the turn 1.
Oh, my goodness. From so far back. Oh, man, if that had worked.
It might still work. Kanauka's half onto the grass trying to make the pass.
Wow, and now almost to the inside. It almost worked. I can't believe it, but it almost worked. Kanauka has now been moved a little bit closer to Brennan because of that move. That was a crazy line to take around this track, kept the grip through it all, and now is even closer to Cameron Brennan and might make a move here. Nope, no move here.
Was that Kanauka's best last chance, though, to make a move? Because we're coming to the white flag right here. There is still a lot to be answered here in this race. And can Kanauka repeat the trick on the final lap of the race as to what just happened a few corners ago?
I mean, Kanauka's going to have to spend a lot of time staying right behind this 86 through the last section of this track. Get as much draft as you can. Get as close as you can right here so you can make that move down into turn 1. That's the best passing zone on the whole track, and it's the next zone that they get to. They're coming to the white flag right now. Can Kanauka get there? I don't know. Pretty far back right now.
And look at the lap traffic they may have to deal with on this final lap. The white flag is out. We have 1 lap of racing to go from Indianapolis. Can Kanauka? This is the closest Kanauka's been all day. Thinking about a move, but not quite close enough.
Man, that last lap, Kanauka came from so far behind. It was a shocker. that the 7 even attempted the move last time. It almost paid off, and this time doesn't go for it. So we'll see what this 7 has planned for the rest of the lap, but you're running out of time. It's the last one.
Oh, Kanelka sliding through the chicane.
No,
that
no.
could be it right there. Kanelka has half a lap to regroup and regain time, but that might have been the last chance for the 7.
Wow. Oh, went a little bit too deep into the first part of the chicane and was headed straight for that bad curb. There's a sausage curb right there that's directly across that corner, and if you hit that, you're really going to damage your car. You might fly off the track, so he had to turn, get off the gas a little bit, went way wide, and then has opened the door for Cameron Brennan to complete the wire-to-wire sweep of this race. Wow, what a final lap.
So for Cameron Brennan, his career started a couple weeks ago at Proville Motorsports Park. This has been a rough awakening for the 86. He struggled on the ovals, but he knew that this was a great opportunity for him to get a win and to boost his reputation in this series. And coming out of the final corner, it is going to be Cameron Brennan, the Scottish driver, the rookie. He's going to get his first career win, and he does it at the most famous racetrack in the world. It's the Indianapolis Motor Speedway, and Brennan gets the job done.
Wow, and what a job from Brennan today to hold off Kanelka after all that leading, after all those lap cars. The 86 had to pass. Just an incredible job from Cameron Brennan. I mean, to stay cool through all that as a rookie, I mean, just starting your career, that is just absolutely a masterful job from Cameron Brennan, and I'll tell you what, that's opened a lot of eyes, I'm sure, to that driver on road courses especially. But that was some class, that was some driving from that team. Wow.
We're going through the rest of the top 10 here. Kanelka second. Ryan Griffin gets his best road course result ever in third. Ryan Reed had an uneventful day to finish fourth. Anthony McClure gets his first top 10 ever in fifth. Braden Varga, Henry Thomas, Riley Hooper, and James Ellison, after their spins, come home eighth and ninth. Really tough for Ellison to take that from pole position. And Ryan Arnold completes the top 10, nearly 20 seconds off the lead. But we're not done yet here from Indianapolis. We still have a little bit to go over, namely that first lap incident with Jake McMillan and Bronson Minnick, and then the absolute chaos that occurred at turn 9 on lap 17.
Yeah, so we'll get to those replays. I mean, that was an incredible race. I mean, we had so much action throughout the entire thing. And yeah, those replays, I'm very curious about how that all went down. But another big congratulations to Cameron Brennan for putting on an absolute masterclass in offense to start the race and defense to end the race. And we're going to get some replays now.
So coming through the chicane on the opening lap, I think he gets doored by Riley Hooper, and that sends him way wide off into the barriers, and that is not something he was going to recover from. Mashburn off, Fox out. Bronson Minnick, that's both the Louisville cars taken for a slide there, and one of the New England Cruisers. I'm sure Ricky Freeman Jr. is not going to be a happy man watching that.
I'll tell you what, I think that every single car that got hit was on the outside of a 3-wide situation coming through that corner. And then here's a bunch of cars off the track. Just
yeah, it wouldn't surprise me there.
Not enough room for all those cars together. But yeah, that's a crazy scenario. Just start of the race chaos. Everybody trying to gain spots.
Yeah, so it looks as though Wyatt O'Quinn, this was on lap 17. He was side by side with Austin Scott, and it looks like there was an accident further up the road. Aiden Clare. Oh, and he hits Aiden Clare's stopped car. Him and Skylar Taylor had an incident in the chicane, and this was where Wyatt O'Quinn was dumping a lot of fluid on the track, and this was the beginning of the end for a lot of people.
Yeah, and honestly, a couple of the Skylar Taylor might have been dropping some fluid as well, but especially this 38 car. Look at the black smoke coming out from behind that vehicle. So just trying to make it back to the pit lane at this point. It might have been better to just pull off the track and retire from the event, but the 38 car decided to try to make it back to the pit lane. And look at this. I mean, directly in the center of the track, you can just see exactly why.
And the leaders were pretty far back when this happened, so...
Yeah.
But you see O'Quinn going really slowly, just trying to protect the car from even more damage, just to pull it off. But this going through, this is probably the worst section of the track for this to happen. He tries to get out of the way. He does as good a job as he can to try and get out of the way of these guys, but...
So, and then this is where it gets...
a little tricky.
Yeah, kind of crazy up through here.
Now, we saw Brennan and Kanelka get onto the grass to avoid him, but back here is where it really starts.
Yeah, so that's Ellison there, and there's the 54. And this is where, look at that, just right exactly where that 38 car was, right there on the curb. You just touch that curbing, and then all of a sudden, every single car is sliding through that part of the track, and the exact same thing happens to every single person. I mean, they're all backing in. They're all able to get it slowed down before they hit the wall, fortunately, but that is pretty incredible to watch all these cars. Look at how many.
I've never seen this happen before, but just goes to show a lot. When fluid is on the track, there's not a lot of opportunity. And look, Maston Rimmel goes off. Jensen Nomina. Kenneth Grant again. Man, oh man. And then O'Quinn is probably still out there somewhere. Trying to... Yeah, there he is, trying to scrub off speed. Oh, and Nomina piles in. That's where he got his damage from.
Insult to injury. That is tough. Wow, man, that was so low on the track for the 62 car to be driving at full speed down there. That's pretty weird, but yeah,
this whole race really, could be classified that way. I'm just gonna say that.
Yeah, weird is a good descriptor for pretty much everything that happened. That is pretty crazy, but wow, what a race. What a race.
And if you think that's the end of the excitement this season, boy, are you wrong, because next week we got a makeup date for the Nitro National Series. You know Boston was canceled earlier this season. To make up for that, we're heading to the Tricky Triangle next time out at Pocono Raceway. The first time ever the Nitro National Series has gone there. We're looking forward to seeing what these guys can do on that technical track, because while I'm sure it'll be a little less chaotic than right here, it's going to have its own unique set of challenges. I, for one, am looking forward to it. So, from Duke Ansack and from myself as well, we say goodbye from the Indianapolis Motor Speedway road course. Boy, that was an eventful day, I'd say, for that one. But for that to finish in under less than a second, incredible driving from these guys. We'll see you again at Pocono, but congratulations to Cameron Brennan, who, for the first time in his brief career, will be able to stand on top of his car and on top of the podium, celebrating in victory lane with the rest of his Sanders Performance Autosport team. What a day we had at the Brickyard.